Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning. And welcome to Open Your Eyes.
That's your morning, right?
I'm Marlene Cuellar.
And I'm April Martinez. Welcome and thank you for having us in your home this morning.
That's right. And the countdown continues. We are 9 days away from Christmas.
You done your shopping?
No. I would love to have the year where I say, yeah, it's all covered. But
No.
It's never happened.
I have a friend that does her shopping in October and then all of the sales are out and everything is out and she's like, I already have your present. I don't even know what day it is, but
yeah.
you know,
yeah,
some people
I
do
have
it well.
tried
Yeah.
every year, but no matter what, I would have some gifts that are left right up to the last minute. So
December
yeah, I'm one of
23rd.
those shoppers, and I know there are many of us out there, especially as people prepare to head out this weekend and next week to pick up whatever they need for Christmas.
I mean, next week is already, it's
Christmas
already
week.
here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like that, again.
I know, and all the last minute prep is taking place. You're all ready for Christmas. You have the tree and the
tree is
you clean
done.
the wall and paint
Yes,
it.
I done paint
put
the
down
wall.
the mali.
Clean out everything, dust out everything, yes, but then you know you'll have to do it again the week before or the week of.
And sometimes right up to the night before. Yeah, but of course there's a whole lot happening in the country, and just April, we were talking before we got started about yesterday's announcement from the CEO of Education that school will officially return to hybrid classes come January.
Yes, I think that kids can't wait to go back to school. I was thinking about it just yesterday after the announcement was made, and I realized that if you have a child that is about 5 or 6 years old, that child has never been in school.
Yeah.
And that is a little bit of a scary situation for them.
Yeah.
It's a little bit scary for the parents who, for the first time, will have to send their kid to school at standard 1 or infant 2. So that is going to be some challenges for the parents, for the kids, for the teachers, who will have a lot of work ahead of them.
Yeah, it's interesting when you think of it that way, because I have a niece who did that first, 9 months, 10 months of primary school, and now she's online. She's adjusted to online, definitely miss friends, says she misses school. But when I think of their foundation being online learning and then going back into the classroom, that's going to be an interesting adjustment, because their first introduction on how to be educated is through virtual.
And not just the education part, but the social skills of the kids. And that is a key element in how you are raised.
Yeah.
Most of your life, you are raised by your teachers and your friends at school. Yeah. The rest of the time is with your parents. So that identity stage, everything, that will be interesting to see how these kids interact in the classroom after.
Learning how to interact.
Yes.
Yeah. But, I know there's still a lot of details to be fleshed out in this process. I think putting a definitive date for start time is important. I'm sure there are going to be concerns all around. There are going to be concerns from teachers, parents. I think the majority of children do want to go back to school, maybe not for the work, maybe not to be supervised in the classroom, but at least to see their friends and to interact once again.
Yes.
But the key thing here, though, is that I think everyone understands that this is a very necessary part of your child's development.
It is.
It is for many parents a challenge to be reinforcing learning tools at home, because a teacher goes to school to learn to teach.
Yes.
And no matter how well educated the parent is or how good they are with children, they don't learn that particular style
No,
or the patience.
I have an 11-year-old brother at home, and I teach at UB. And I don't know how to teach standard 3, standard 4, standard 5 level classes. I had to research how to help with that. My mom had to research how to help with that, and we still are learning as we go. So they can't wait to go back, but I can't imagine the parents that have 5 kids, 6 kids, and they're all online, and they all have to figure out a way to educate themselves. And I know that that one teacher probably tries their best to help the parent, but it's teachers helping the parent plus the kids plus handling 16 children in the classroom virtually. And Marlene, I teach online, and people want to say it's less work. It's really not.
Yeah.
It's not. You have to put content online, you have to check papers, you have to make sure that all of your systems are working, everything is working. So doing that and being in the classroom is going to be a challenge for these teachers, and I hope that there's some preparation for that.
Yeah. Well, you know, and even getting the engagement online.
Yeah.
I've sat in a class and doing presentations for people, and it really is. That has to be hard. You just see blank screens and you talk only to yourself.
And
at least in a classroom, you see their reactions.
They don't talk back to you, and that's the challenging part. You don't know if they're actually retaining the information because you ask a question, they don't speak to you.
Yeah,
it's odd. It's awkward, and it's been almost 2 years of that.
Yeah,
I don't know how it's going to be, and that's why I say we'll never get back to normal. Not really. But we have to figure out a way how to
that's
adjust.
I think that was part of what the CEO said yesterday. You know, it's like another transition into an era that we have never been in before. It's hybrid. It's both, whether it's packages or online or recorded classes. So it's going to be, they call it mixed medium. You have some in face and you in person, and you have some in other modalities. So that's what they're going to adjust to until we can one day get back to where all the children are in the classroom in front of their teacher.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be an interesting thing to see.
That's one of the things that I know was interesting from yesterday. But of course, the big buzz is looking at the reopening of the border come January 1st.
I have feelings.
A lot of people have feelings. A lot of people have been. So let's put this into perspective. The land borders, your little regular trips to Chetumal or anywhere else in Mexico that you normally travel to, you haven't been able to do that since early 2020. Yeah. And there are people who have been clamoring for this for quite a while. Interestingly, the release yesterday from Cabinet noted that there are public health measures that will be tied to this, and that should be outlined very soon. But we had the Prime Minister on the show in October, and part of a question that was posed to him then was about providing a definitive plan as to the move forward with COVID-19, building in some predictability. And so we wanted to play that clip because he actually tells us, and we'll see if this is what is actually executed, what will be the regulations for travel across the border. So if we have the clip ready, all right, let's go to that.
It's starting to go down slightly, but if we continue to hold tight as what we're doing right now, they believe that we could get below 10% by the end of this month.
Yeah, for the positivity rate.
Yeah, the positivity rate.
Okay.
And then in November, then to increase the cut is being
into
done.
the country. Yes. This is interesting. So, but of course, as you're saying, I hear very clearly, this is
based on the positivity rate that it's
so
going
if we hit
down.
10% by the end of this month, 5% at the end of
At
November.
about 5%, yes.
So that
And
is,
those are the projections from the Ministry of Health. Those are the projections. They believe that from what they're seeing, that is what we'll be able to get. But it is important.
yeah. So the portion we're looking for is a bit before that. And so what he actually said at that time, which we've seen come through so far, is that in November there was going to be a change in curfew, which we did see.
Yes.
From 10 to 11, and then in December 11 and 12, which we are seeing. And he did say that at the start of the new year, there would be the opening of the border, the land border. But what he said would be the regulation is that it would be for vaccinated persons only, and that if you spend more than 72 hours across the border, you would be subjected to testing on the way back into the country. So I think that's going to temper the celebration that people have been having.
If they're monitored properly, yes, I think so. But at the same time, I don't see the rush to go over the border.
For you personally?
For me personally, but also I think that yes, Belizeans, they want to get out and so forth, but our airports have been open for quite some time now, and Belizeans have been traveling through that medium. But also, I found it a little bit, not strange, but interesting that they would open the borders right in the middle of high season in Belize, where, you know, we want the tourism. So I have questions about that. Why would you do it then? Maybe in a low season, you know, but I know Belizeans want to get out. Chetumal and Melchor are a little bit easier for locals to go. But guys, don't forget, Belize is a great place, and I'm biased, so I will always want your economy to stay home, you know, support here, support local.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think for sure that's part of what the private sector has been saying, that they've seen the difference where people can't travel across the border, whether for tourism or for doing their own day-to-day shopping. So that's kind of put them in a position where they access everything here. Now, you know, there's the other side of the argument that restricting people's movement outside of the country through this medium, because not everyone can afford a flight, is one that people found dragged on too long. But I guess you're not going to stop people from going across the border. I think the key part to that, or the countermeasure, in addition to looking at the health risks and the testing and the vaccinated portions, but also what are people going to be subjected to in terms of checking and taxation when they come back in.
Right.
And that could be perhaps where they counter that.
I would find it a little bit, I think it would be hard for the people that are monitoring the COVID in these other countries. I think you'd have to do that 10 times more now that we'll have this influx of people going in and out from these land borders. So monitoring Mexico, monitoring Guatemala and Belize, and the amount of people that travel every day, that's going to be hefty for our borders. So
I'm interested to see whether or not it will, if what the Prime Minister said in that October 13th interview is what the public health regulations will be, which is land border travel will be for vaccinated persons only, and you'd be subjected to testing if you spend more than 72 hours. If that comes through, I wonder how much that would affect our vaccination rates. Because April, I mean, people love going across the border, whether for just a change of scenery for one day or a weekend. They make use of that opportunity, and they go just across the border to Melchor and Chetumal, and they go further into our neighboring countries as well.
I would imagine that people would want to get vaccinated to go to Sam's Club.
To go to Sam's,
I think,
or Cancun.
Or Cancun.
Yeah.
But you know, I think we're doing relatively okay when it comes to vaccination. I know that the booster shots, you can now go and do that.
Yeah. Have you gotten your booster?
Not yet. I have to find the time. I should probably do that before Christmas.
Yeah.
But it's not. I am vaccinated. I just need the booster shots. But for those of you that aren't and you want to go to Chedraui, you know, I think now is the time to get your vaccination, I guess. And I wonder, it's not a conspiracy, I promise. I wonder if maybe that is another reason to open the borders, is to try to get people to get vaccinated.
Well, that could be one thing, but I think the fact, and as I said, this is what the Prime Minister said in that October 13th interview. We have not heard officially from the Ministry of Health what the regulations will be for traveling across the border. The cabinet brief has only said that will be outlined later this week. But everything else that he said in that interview, the changing of the curfews, that has taken place so far. So we have reason to believe that this will possibly be one of the requirements.
I just hope that they would take those challenges into consideration when it comes to the monitoring, because monitoring airports is already challenging, but you can monitor flights. Monitoring the amount of people in their cars that would travel day to day across the border, now that is something to really look at. So good luck.
So that is one of the stories that's buzzing, but I think you have to put it into perspective with what we are seeing with the new variant, Omicron. And an interesting story from yesterday is that the UK recorded over 78,000 cases in one day, the largest number of cases for them since the start of the pandemic. And it is a testament to what we'd already been warned about, which is that Omicron is extremely transmissible.
Yes. And you can't, I hate using the word scary so much, but it is that this particular virus is able to adapt, mutate at a very fast rate, and you don't know how best to fight it, even with the vaccinations, even with the masks, even with all you can do is try your best to stay safe with these regulations.
Yeah.
That's what you can do.
It's an accumulation of defenses, you know, it's your vaccination, it's good health, it's doing the 3 W's, watching your distance, wearing your mask, and washing your hands. That's kind of like building up the defense system that you have. But looking at the situation with Omicron, as we start to see more countries detecting their first case, it does lead me to question as to how we are doing surveillance here in Belize. Now, the central lab does have the technology. They started a few months ago in doing gene sequencing to detect variants. That was a partnership they had with a U.S. medical college. But the last interview, we had a representative with Ministry of Health. They said they were speaking to Baylor College about getting the knowledge on how to do the gene sequencing for Omicron. So are we doing surveillances yet? And how frequently are they pulling samples to be able to see if we have Omicron? These are all questions I think that we have to start asking, because Mexico, for example, detected their first case in December, the first week of December. And we have a number of tourists coming in. It's crucial for us to know.
The manpower to detect all of these things at such a fast rate as well. We would need the people, we would need the technology, we would need the funding.
Yeah.
And
speaking of funding, you know, we're only learning more about Omicron as the days go by. What seems to be the case is that it is mostly mild, and they're still doing more investigation as the days go by. But the biggest concern is, and especially for countries like Belize, is if you have a large number of cases at one time, even that small percentage of people who require hospitalization, it can overwhelm your healthcare system. And we've seen it before.
Yes.
And so my other question that I woke up with this morning was just, okay, so how much are our healthcare systems getting prepared?
Right.
Yesterday's cabinet brief, they did speak of they did announce that they are donating 5 ventilators and patient monitors to KHMH. And that's one step. I hope they're fully functional, because we've heard reports of that being a challenge before. But yeah, what's the plan? What's the emergency plan if we expect to have a spike and you will have people filling up the hospitals?
We need the space. We already don't have the space. And what I think is necessary for people to know is that, yes, we are a small country, and yes, the disease spreads fast, but just yesterday I think we had about 35 new cases, which it's going down, right? But 35 new cases in a population of over 350,000 people is still a high percentage for us. So if we would get that down to 0, that would be great. But leaving it at a 2-digit number is still not good for our population size.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can only urge people to continue to be as careful as possible when they're out there.
Especially during the holidays, where people want to gather and celebrate. I always tell people, don't get vaccinated for yourself, get vaccinated for the people around you. If you want to spend time with your grandma, if you want to make boyos with your grandma, get vaccinated. Wear your mask while you're doing that, you know, because trusting is, yes, you can trust that your family is being safe, but you might not have been, and so you have to make sure that you are trying to keep safe.
And the unfortunate part is that we know vaccinated persons can still get COVID-19.
Yes, it's not 100%. It's not a cure. And I think that is something that we need to understand. Vaccines are not a cure. You still have to get your flu shot every single year if you want to keep that immunity up, right? So it's not a cure. It is a safety measure. That's all it is.
And the more safety measures you take on, the better protected you are. So it goes back to the same thing. You have your vaccination. You know, when you're going to cold weather and you have to layer up.
Yes.
It's like adding on your layers of defense. So you get your vaccination, you try to keep yourself healthy, and you wear your mask, you keep a proper distance from people, avoid crowds, and wash your hands as much as possible. I know we joked about that last week. We are all guilty of not doing the full 20 seconds. Some of us are down to 5, some of us are down to 10. Let's try to go back to that because we don't want to see another wave.
You don't want to get comfortable. You don't want to get comfortable. And I think that that is what most countries have been doing the past few months. They see the cases go down and they get comfortable. They, you know, they let go, they let loose, and then something like the Omicron develops.
So that's where we are with Omicron. And just on a lighter note, I want to say this much. Yesterday we showed the Christmas lights in Belize City. They are, I saw it the first night I was driving. It was just beautiful. It's such a wonderful tone to set for Christmas when you see all those lights up in the sky and then the shots that they've done with the drone. Absolutely beautiful. So if you've not ventured near the overpass, near Paloti, then you definitely have to bring the kids out. I know that's a big tradition for people. You used to drive around and see Christmas lights at homes.
Yes.
You definitely want to take them out and see the Christmas lights at the overpass in Belize City. It is absolutely beautiful. It feels so Christmassy.
I noticed people are doing more this year. Last year, people were not too engaging with Christmas due to the pandemic. But I noticed this year, people are putting up their lights, people are putting up their trees. You don't put up your lights?
No. Christmas is delayed for me this year. I am 100% guilty of that. So, but I get to enjoy it. I get to enjoy it here because we have this beautiful tree on set. And then I get to see the lights of everyone else's hard labor as I move around the
I
city.
would love for them to keep that all year round. That
I
is
think
just
so too.
Gorgeous.
I think so too.
Oh, man.
And you know, with LED technology, it's not that high of an electricity bill anymore. All right, but we got to move on. So that was just a lighter note to round us off for today. And now we shift very quickly into some motivation to get the day started. So that means it's time for Eye Opener. And our Eye Opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. We are all on this earth together, learning and teaching together in many different ways. We're all in the same boat. We just have different paddles. And perhaps we find ourselves on different rivers. We all live in human bodies. These are the vehicles in which we move through our world. We're all made of flesh, blood, and bone, with brains, hearts, and lungs to power us. Our paddles, the tools we use to move through the world, vary, as do the bodies of water, the environments in which we find ourselves. Some of us may be moving along paths that are like rushing rivers. Others may be in a large, still lake. We have all felt, at one time or another, tossed about on a stormy ocean. Through all this, we are never really alone, even though it might seem that way. There is inspiration all around us in the form of other people making their way through the world, in the very same boat. Remember to look around you for role models, companionship, and encouragement.
I like that. That's nice. I think that this eye-opener kind of centers you a little bit because you're so busy with your world is your bubble by yourself. The things that you do on your own, your struggles, your happiness, your accomplishments, you're in your bubble. And sometimes you feel as if you're the only one going through something or you're the only person that is feeling this way. But at the end of the day, everyone is going through something, or everyone is going through an accomplishment, or everyone is trying to just get through their 24 hours. So I like that it says that through all this, we are never really alone. And
Yeah.
it's true. If you would take the time to just talk to people around you and ask how their day is going, you might notice that, yeah, that person could have used your smile today while you used that person's smile to get through your day. I really like that.
Yeah. All right. And from the eye opener to our weather for today, we got to find out. It looks like it's going to be another rainy day, but I'm not the forecaster. They're going to tell us. So let's hear from Derek Verdun of what we can expect.
Moist and relatively unstable conditions prevail. The 24-hour forecast. Mostly cloudy today with a few showers, periods of rain and isolated thunderstorms over most places, and activity will decrease during the afternoon. Then cloudy at times with a few showers and isolated thunderstorms, redeveloping over the south and some coastal areas tonight. High temperatures for today will reach 82 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 86 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 72 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. Low temperatures for tonight will be 76 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 72 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 64 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to northeast at 10 to 20 knots, and sea conditions will be moderate. Operators of small crafts are advised to exercise caution for occasionally gusty winds and locally rough seas near heavy showers or thunderstorms. High tides occur at 8:58 this morning and then 8:04 tonight. Low tides at 2:04 this afternoon and then 3:29 tomorrow morning. The moon will rise at 3:36 this afternoon and then set at 4:56 tomorrow morning. Sunset is at 5:21 this evening and sunrise at 6:16 tomorrow morning. The extended forecast. A few showers and isolated thunderstorms will affect mostly central and northern areas on Friday, then mainly southern and coastal areas on Friday night. And the sargassum update. Sargassum amounts are expected to remain low, and as a result, no major impacts are expected along the beaches during the next few days. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
All right. So there you have it. That was Crystal Rosales with our weather update for today. And as the skies have been showing us, it's going to be a moist day.
I don't mind it. I love the rain when I don't have to go outside. You know, and I stay inside, wrap up in my blanket and just...
All right. There you go. Lucky you. The people who are like getting ready to work right now, they're like, oh.
I know, I'm sorry.
All right. We got to get moving into our show for today, though. And our first conversation.
Our first conversation is with the president of the BTIA, who is here to talk about the rebounding of the tourism industry and the creation of Great Police Productions.
That's right.
As Channel 5 celebrates their 30th anniversary.
Yeah, great conversation coming up. We'll have Stuart Crone in studio. And then we are going to be talking about the upcoming Christmas Bram. And that's being organized by Niche. And it also includes the BDF band. So we're going to hear just how they're going to celebrate it, how you can join in, and what kind of fun you can expect.
I'm excited about that. You know how long we haven't heard of a Christmas Bram?
Yeah.
It's been years, before COVID too. So that should be exciting. And then our last conversation is the art of a Belizean Christmas staple. We are going to be going on with our trying to promote small business enterprises on this show, which I really appreciate and I love. And today we're going to talk about the Kojak Rompopo.
Sumptuous Rompopo. Yeah.
I can't wait.
And he has all kinds of flavors. He usually gives us some tips, but not all his secrets. So that's going to be happening in the close of the show today, and we get to sample as well. So that's our lineup for this morning. We are going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to get that first conversation started. So please, stay tuned.
It's almost lunchtime and Alice is getting hungry and forgot to bring cash. She remembers that eCash now has a geolocation feature in which she can easily view the eCash merchants near her, especially restaurants. Her co-workers also ask her to order food for them.
Chicken chow mein, please, and a Coke.
The merchant sends her the payment link, she taps confirm, and within a few minutes, her food is delivered. Alice then views her transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made. Then taps the split the bill button where she selects the unevenly option and moves the bar to the desired amount per person. The request is then sent to her friends. Her colleagues accept the request and are ready to enjoy their meals. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash make Alice's life a whole lot easier.
We have been a partner with Smart for over 10 plus years. We have a full Smart plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this Smart service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our Smart service, we pay an average of about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to Smart because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
Smart continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
Vaccines protect you and they protect me. Getting vaccinated is one of the most important things you can do to keep yourself and your family safe and healthy. Once enough people are immunized, opportunities for an outbreak of disease becomes very low. And if we all choose to get vaccinated, we contribute in getting back to spending quality time with our loved ones in a safe way.
Today's COVID update is brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
And we're back and we're moving into our first conversation for this morning. We are joined by President of the Belize Tourism Industry Association, Stuart Crone, and also founder of Great Belize Productions Limited, here to kind of talk about both things. How are you?
It's great to be here, Marlene and April.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet April.
Yeah. And I believe there's a Guinness cake that's coming in somewhere. Somebody's going to bring it in as a great reveal.
Actually, I'm missing some ingredients that after the show I have to go out shopping so I can bake the Guinness cake that actually goes to Channel 5 staff.
Okay.
As you know, I donated the original one to Gimme 5, and I will put the word out there. The person who won it, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Sure they did.
Well, I love sharing that with viewers that they don't know all that you're capable of, including making a good Guinness cake. But Stuart, it's great to have you, and I know we're going to be talking a bit about the behind the scenes of putting together the company and some of the things that the company has been able to accomplish in your original vision. But we can't have you and not talk about how tourism is doing. We saw a report last night talking about how well Belize is recovering so far, and the original projections seem to have been exceeded. From the BTIA standpoint, what's your assessment?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have to be thankful that the rebound is both stronger and earlier than we had originally thought. A lot of the original predictions said that, the industry will not get back on its feet till 2023 at the earliest. People will not begin to travel. I would caution, let's not get overconfident. There are things on the horizon that are out there that we have to be careful about. Let me take the opportunity to please tell your audience, get vaccinated, get your booster. That's the most important thing that we can do. As individuals, there's not a lot we can do to stop the global pandemic, but we all can act on our own. And so if you love your parents, if you love your children, if you love your country, please get vaccinated.
Yeah. I imagine that with the detection of the new variant, it probably brought about some nerves for the industry as to what could potentially come. Did you see any change or persons asking questions about exposure to COVID-19 when making their bookings since then?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's a frequent question. People want to know what the state of our health system is, what happens if they contract COVID while in Belize. So yeah, and I will say that the industry is seeing some cancellations or at least postponements because of the Omicron variant that will undoubtedly kind of engulf the world. The question is what effect it will have. It's still a bit too early. I think that what they're saying now is it is more transmissible, but perhaps less virulent in terms of the effects. But we'll see. Well, we have to roll with it. There's no getting around it.
Now, looking at how the entire sector is performing, would you say that all the stakeholders are benefiting from this boost in the high season?
Again, I don't have the hard data, and I don't know if we're even looking at it. It's a little bit uneven. I think the higher end properties are doing a little bit better than some of the lower end properties, say with groups and student groups, group travel. In other words, unaffiliated, non-family group travel is probably lagging behind a little bit because of the variant. But I think it's all coming back. In the developed world, or particularly in the United States, because it's only the United States, more recently Canada, that we're dealing with. Europe has been kind of cut off, South America, Mexico, those markets have dried up. There's a certain class of people that not only were not hurt by the pandemic, but actually have more disposable income as a result of the pandemic. And so I think we're seeing those people travel a little bit more. But in general, a lot more people are getting their jobs back. And people are paying off their loans.
That's what I wanted to get at, because I know when we started to talk about just how devastated the tourism industry was when the borders were closed, people were traveling. One of the things I think you'd outlined very early was that even when we do start to rebound, people need to play catch up on whatever loans they've had to take out, being able to get the properties back up to state. Do you want to expand on that?
Well, it's easy to say, yes, tourism is coming back, but there was this, 14, 16, 18-month hole that virtually everyone in the industry got deeper into. And so, I think fortunately the commercial banks, the DFC especially, Beltrade, steps were put into place where enterprises could access funds, expand their loans, borrow new money, and at some point those loans have to be paid back. So we learned kind of a new business model
Yeah.
there. But no, I think as a whole, whether it's the previous government, whether it's the current government, I think everyone kind of pulled together. You didn't see, a lot of, mass bankruptcies and stuff. I have to congratulate the people who were laid off, all the people who saw salary cuts. They got through it, and for the most part got through it and took it in good stride.
Yeah.
I think in the cruise industry, which was really the hardest hit, people just wholesale lost their jobs, boom, zero.
Yeah.
I think in the overnight industry, except for the real heavy lockdown period, we at least had some local business, and were able to, in many cases, keep the doors open, keep a certain number of employees, keep the wheels turning a little bit. But in cruise, it was, it was 100% shut down. And, people suffered a lot, but we've got, for the most part, have gotten through it. I think it proved that we're a resilient people.
Yeah.
And I think we've learned some lessons.
I was going to go into that about what if something like this were to happen again? What are the measures that the BTIA are taking in terms of how to deal with a situation? Maybe not a pandemic, but a situation that would basically shut down the tourism industry.
Yeah, I don't think it's a question, April, of what if. It's a question of when.
When, yes.
And I think, the lesson that we've learned is pandemic was not maybe high on the radar, but we have had hints before with the bird flu and stuff like that. But you have things like, I hate to be Mr. Gloom and Doom, don't forget about terrorism. Someone sinks a cruise ship in Belize City Harbor, boom, we're back at it again. There's all kind of political things that could happen. God forbid there should ever be that kind of thing in Belize, but a civil insurrection, that kind of thing. You take a country like Nicaragua, which only a few years ago, the tourism industry was booming. Nicaragua was kind of the darling of the tourism industry. And then look at the political upheaval in that country. Tourism has virtually come to a standstill in Nicaragua. It causes a lot of suffering. Same thing in Honduras, same thing in countries all over.
Are we prepared? In the
It's hard to prepare. I'll put a plug in. BTIA will be sponsoring, as part of a project with MAR Fund, we'll be holding a summit that's entitled Reimagining Belizean Tourism. And it's not an easy thing to do, but what we need to do is get some of the best thinkers in the industry to really engage in an exercise to reimagine the industry, not just because of COVID, but the world is changing very rapidly. And if we stay in the same place, we're competing against 180 different countries in the world, and we have to find our spot. And it's not a static spot, it's an evolving spot. But the good news is that our natural resource base is comparatively well intact. And that's something that other countries are losing at an alarming rate. We're losing it at a bit slower rate, but I think we've got to look at climate change, look at what we have, and build a resilient industry around that precious natural resource base, and not get on this bandwagon of mega all-inclusives and that kind of thing. There's a great place for a world that is friendly to nature and friendly to cultural experience. And we don't have to get caught up in that hustle and bustle for every dollar. There are ways we can be extremely successful financially, but not destroy the way of life that we have here. It's a very appealing way of life that there will always be a part of the traveling public from abroad that will come and appreciate the nature and the style of the people. And we have to look at that very carefully, how we can preserve that.
I like that. Kind of maintaining the identity of what we represent.
Yeah, I mean, it's an overused word called authenticity, but it's...
That's the new buzzword, right?
but it's until we can find another word for it, We're one of a declining number of truly authentic destinations in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like our old buildings. Every time we destroy one or fire destroys an old building, that's lost forever.
Yeah.
Once you lose it, you don't get it back. You can try and rebuild with modern materials a building that looks old, but it's not the same. It is not authentic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why we would be in any hurry to lose our authenticity, I don't know.
Just lastly, because I want to get moving into or behind the scenes story, but the reopening of the land borders, do you think that people in the sector will be concerned? I know local tourism has really helped a lot of properties to stay afloat.
That's a tough question, Marlene. I know it cuts both ways. I would only hope that the thousands of people who got to discover Belize more intimately during the pandemic will still maintain a soft spot for that. The comments that I get from our local visitors at the property that I'm in charge of, we get some very sincerely great comments like, I never knew Belize could be that great. I think you yourself have traveled a lot locally. I'm not sure about you,
I do.
April, but yes, people like to go to Chetumal, they like to go to Bacalar, they like to go to Playa, they like to go to Cancun, and I'm sure there will be a certain amount of that. But I think the people who experienced their own country during the pandemic will take stock and realize that there's a whole lot of places still left to be seen in Belize, and the value is there. A lot of hotels and resorts have trimmed their prices, especially for local people. So I am going to be optimistic and think that we'll lose some business, but the bulk of it I think will stay.
All right. So let's talk about what we brought you here for. And we're so happy to have you. I know we were trying to get you on the anniversary day itself, but this gives us a time to reflect. And we've had a lot of fun going through all the archives and looking at the start of Channel 5. But your story essentially is different. From coming up with the idea to execution. Let's just dive into it. How did you decide that you wanted to create this television station?
Well, it goes back to when television first came to Belize in that form of pirate cable TV. At the time, I was the editor of a magazine called Ruckdown. I think nobody under 50 will remember that, but it was a lot of fun. So I was very deep in the journalism business. But once TV came, I think this would have been in late 1981, it was apparent all our advertisers in the magazine were starting to migrate toward the pirate TV stations. There was no local content. If you are too young to recall, but you had WGN from Chicago, you had Tropical Vision doing their thing, and there would be little inserts in between, in place of the U.S. commercials, little ads with just with words on the screen, and the whole country, everyone, at least it started in Belize City and then migrated to the districts, but everyone was watching TV. I mean, you can remember the Chicago Cubs.
That's why we love the Bulls, and that's why we love the Cubs.
The whole
we
thing.
grew up,
I mean, I still miss the dancers from Solid Gold. And so I kind of saw the handwriting on the wall that the future was in the electronic media. I didn't know much about television, except I grew up in the United States watching television, so I knew what I liked, and I knew how powerful the medium was. At that time, life in Belize was a little different, and I didn't really have any money, but the banking system was different. And if you had a good relationship with the bank manager, you could borrow money without collateral. I don't think you can still do that. So you had a wonderful manager of Bank of Nova Scotia. His name was an Irishman named Craig Griffith. And I went in to see Mr. Griffith, and I said, I want to start a TV production company. And he said, well, what collateral do you have? I said, well, I don't have any. I was just building a house, but DFC had that mortgage. I didn't have anything to offer him. He said, well, you're a well-educated person, and I know you're of good character. How much money do you need? I said, I need $20,000. He said, okay, just go to the teller and she'll have $20,000 in your account. You can't do that today.
Pretty sure you can.
No.
Maybe white privilege had something to do with it. I don't know. That's another conversation. But so that, the next week I flew to Miami, bought some rudimentary, really elementary television equipment, came back, hired Evan Gordon. Only the old timers remember, a Radio Belize stalwart. And we figured it out and started making commercials for the pirate stations. They were hilarious.
Yeah.
They were awful.
What's the first commercial you remember? Like one that stands out to you?
I'm not sure. I think we made a really bad one for DAC.
Okay.
That I can still remember. I mean, we were, kids in it. We loved DAC. It was embarrassing. It might be somewhere back in the archives.
Yeah.
But I mean, so we did that. I remember Grace had a product called Cock Soup. Again, I would appeal to old timers to remember that ad, and it was. That ad was genuinely cute. It had the Creole lady, the Garifuna lady, the Maya lady, all of, I can remember the words, but I won't repeat it.
Well, when you told me the product, I figured. But let me just go back to it. You didn't have any experience with this. You just kind of decided that there was an opening in the market, and you had some thoughts or some suggestions as what could be there.
It's one of those things, Marlene, that you do when you're young and stupid. And God bless the young and the stupid, because you do things when you're young that you would never do when you're older and you have the so-called experience.
Yeah.
And
So originally, and I love going back to that, it was all production. Before we started doing daily programs, it was all doing commercials. I know you did documentaries.
Exactly. It started with commercials, then it went to sponsored documentaries. So certain people or entities in the society realized that everyone's watching this TV. If I've got a pitch I want to make, whether it's commercial, whether it's political, let's put it on TV. I remember we did a thing for BEL. It was at a time when the blackouts were constant. It was really, really getting bad. And the chairman of BEL at the time, Mr. Johnny Searle, he was just getting lambasted in the newspapers. Radio was different because that was government controlled, so there was no opposition on the radio. But he said, Stuart, we're getting hammered. I need to explain what's going on, that we're trying hard. I said, well, why don't you put something on TV? We can do a thing. And we did this interview with him. He was scared to death. I mean, nobody had been on TV. Nobody
interviews
knew
then.
It was what it was like, and we did this interview with him and some of his executives, and that kind of sparked people to realize that you can, kind of win friends and influence people through television. And so then we thought, well, there's some programs that would really be a lot of fun. And we did a thing called This is Belize that was for a now defunct tourism organization. That starred Eddie Seferino Coleman, who was just, he really was Belize's first kind of media personality.
Yeah.
We did a thing called Belize Adventure, hosted by Indra Craig. Wonderful production. Then we got the idea for a regular program.
There's Belize All Over.
That was really the first regular program. And so we produced this program, but we didn't control the two Belize City TV stations. You had Channel 9 and Channel 7. Well, we said we want to put these on TV. They said, well, it's going to cost you $1,000 a week to put the show on. Well, we didn't have that money. So we did a little sleight of hand. So we went to Mr. Hoare at Channel 9 and said, we want to put this thing on and we want you to run it free. He said, free? I'll never run it free. I said, but Channel 7 is running it for free. He said, Channel 7's running it for free? Well, sure. Well, those two didn't talk, so he could never check. And then we went to Vasquez
And did the same.
said Channel 9 is running it for free.
Yeah.
And so we got
them on
it
all
free, and then
things.
what we did, we could then sell the ads to advertisers to say, look, this show is going to run every week on Channel 9 and Channel 7.
Yeah.
So they paid us. We edited the ads in, and we would deliver the tapes first to Channel 5 and 7, and then all the district stations. So that was truly the first nationwide television show. It was a great show.
Yeah.
It had, I mean, the people on it were immediately Belize's first celebrities.
Yeah.
Jackie Gray, Silvana Woods, Ernesto Vasquez, Norris Hall. It was just a lot of fun.
Do you know the fascinating thing about that is that these productions, you find them on YouTube now. They're everywhere, and my students like to use it for their history classes. Whenever they want to look up something about Belize that is a video documentary about some level of history or something, these are the productions that they come up with.
There's a lot of really great history in there.
Yes.
I saw out of the corner of my eye, I saw Jackie Gray flying a Harrier. We actually had people come up to her after that, say, Jackie, how did you learn to fly a plane so fast?
So let's go to our flagship program. You started off as you said, doing these productions and building in ads. Why was the news your first venture?
Oh, it was kind of a natural. That was the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But I want to go back, if I could.
Okay, go
sorry.
ahead. Yeah.
To go from the production
in the TV version
to broadcasting, you need a broadcasting license.
Yes.
And so there's the politics of it. George Price hated television. So I would be remiss if I did not give credit to, at the time, the Minister of Broadcasting, who came in 1989 with a pledge to free up the media. Because Radio Belize, although it was technically very good and you had some very good broadcasters, politically it could have been Russia, Cuba, in terms of how it muzzled dissent. So I would have to really big up Syed Musa for running on a platform of freeing the media, and when he got in, actually followed through on his promises. So both Channel 5 and other private radio stations, Creme, Love, got licenses, and that enabled us to start kind of a new era in media.
Yeah, and subsequently, I think, closed Radio Belize after that, right?
Yes, it closed after that.
Yeah.
Much to the regret of many people, I think. There are some politicians that wish we were back in the Radio Belize days. And maybe the pendulum has swung a little bit too far in the other direction. I mean, I cannot imagine a media any freer than that in Belize. And then when you add the social media aspect, it's the Wild West out there.
I think radio still reaches every single corner of this country, more so than television, and definitely more so than Wi-Fi and social media.
Radio is crucial, but the difference is, back in the Radio Belize days, every single person in Belize, you had no choice. You had to listen to Radio Belize, even if it was just the telenovelas, the radio plays that were on every day at 12 o'clock. Everyone listened at the same time. Now you have maybe 20 or 25 different radio outlets. So at any given time, no one outlet dominates the scene. So if you're trying to get a message to the entire country, probably Facebook is the way
very true.
to do it.
Yes.
There's great coverage there, but let's come back to it. I know you've been enjoying looking back along with us on all our anniversary specials.
Immensely
I
enjoyed
love all of the evolutions of clothing and hair. It's my favorite. It's my favorite thing ever to see. That is like, wow, that is really and truly the way people had their glasses on, the people had their shoes and their makeup. It's such a wonderful evolution of time to watch this network grow.
William's flat top, that's my favorite.
Yes. Poor William. But even, look at that. Speaking of which.
Wow.
Oh,
who's
yeah.
that?
That, maybe that's the climb up Victoria Peak.
Yeah.
Perhaps?
Yes.
Yeah, that was probably the toughest story I ever did.
Yeah. Yeah, you dissuaded me when I wanted to do it. You said, Lenny. And I used to run every day at that point.
It's, you know, yeah.
But let's come back to it though. So when you look back at these stories now, when you look back at the things, and we could only pull portions of the start of News 5. You know, what's the part of the story that stays with you? Is it still the building of the tower?
Well, that's another story. That was, among all the dumb things we did, that was probably the dumbest. That was heavy work, you know. We should never, ever, you know, my idea was, it's a good team building exercise.
Actually, that's what I said, you know, that's a different Stuart than we know. The idea that if we build it together, we'll appreciate it together.
The thought was nice, but you know, those beams and that tower is heavy. I mean, we could have had an accident there and injured people. So
no equipment.
No hard hats, no
that
nothing.
Didn't happen, right?
I cringe when I watch that, and you put it on a number of times, and I feel so bad. They should have sued me for that.
But what stands out for you?
You know, it sounds trite, Marlene, but the people, I mean, I look at all those young people. I mean, I was, I think, 40 when we started that, so that's kind of, now that looks very young, but let's say it's middle age. So, I mean, the people that we hired some of them were in their teens still, but 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I mean, just getting to know those young people, well, getting to know you when you were hired. It's, you know, it is, you know, I don't want to get too sentimental, but it's just a very good feeling.
Yeah.
To work with those people, and I am not going to pretend that I loved everyone or everyone loved me, but there's certainly a soft spot in my heart for all those people that I worked with, and you know, some of whom are still there today. When I walked in the control room and saw George, saw Sosa. And saw some equipment that is older than 30 years.
That was going to be my next point. I said the equipment is the evolution of the equipment. And I know you said that this is something that you started when you were young and stupid. And I think all great
now
things
I'm old and stupid. But
I mean, but the way you first did your commercials, those set trends for the way we listen to those commercials today. Belizean media is very fascinating in the way that our commercials stand out to, from the United States, from Central America. It is, when you listen to Dutch Boy paint commercial, or when you listen to, I don't know, Grace commercials, it is 100% the Belizean. And I think you set that trend. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's great. So whenever you listen to a certain commercial in Belize, that came from you.
I think you're overstating the case,
I am.
April. But I mean, I think it is nice to see that I think, not just from Channel 5, but from the way the media has evolved. In some ways good, some ways not so good. But I think the one thing has remained that we have not been so imitative. I mean, traditions have started that it's not only is there nothing wrong with being original, but it's kind of cherished. That's the gold standard, is to be as original as you can be. Don't be ashamed of it. I think a lot of the world, you see countries imitating styles that maybe began in the United States or the UK, something like that. So it's and I think that some of the newer commercials that I see, that both the technical aspects and the script aspects, there's some really high quality stuff being done, and all the productions that I see, some of the production houses as well as the TV stations, there's some really very cool work being done. I like it.
There are a lot of creative and talented people.
Immensely. Immensely. And I hope they stay involved in broadcasting.
Absolutely. And you know, well, I mean, we have quite a few here who've stuck around. Rick Romero, who was there, and we always talk about what the start was like, and he, you know, I think in the anniversary special that aired on Tuesday, he kind of said that it was, and you said it was just figuring it out as you went along. If you could go back, would you do anything differently?
Maybe read a book on television production. Because the lessons that when you make mistakes, you learn those lessons really well.
Yeah.
And certainly we made a lot of mistakes.
And work hard not to make it happen again.
Yes. If it's like, it might take 10 mistakes and realize, oh yeah, that's how it works, where you could have read a book or read the instructions and not made the mistake in the first place. But you mentioned Rick. I think if there's dozens of people who are just fabulous, but I think if you have to zero in on who is the heart and soul of the station and the production, it would be Rick.
Yeah.
And certainly you're joined by legendary people like Marcus Walsh, Brent Toombs, George Tillett. And the thing is, nobody was paid well, including myself. We all worked for the love of it. The hours that we worked, if you could imagine, I love that you showed some of the Laura and the Manning.
Yeah.
Now remember, that show started at 7. You had to be there 5:30, 6 o'clock at the latest. So it's the same production team that would arrive at the studio at 5:30 or 6, and you're working all day doing news. You're working news. That's if there's not a program after the news. But even if it's just news, you're not out of there till 7:30. So you're working 5:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night. That's a 14-hour day. And you're doing that 5 days a week, and then on weekends you're shooting features. I think a lot of family life suffered. I know my own did. And that, I think, if you ask if there's anything I regret, I think that would be my biggest regret. But, it's to do a thing like that in a small country like this, you need crazy people. And fortunately, we had enough crazy people.
You need a little crazy to work in the media. I do fundamentally believe that. But what you say, I think, is still true today. I think people don't see the amount of hours and work and time away from loved ones that you put in just to get a couple of hours of programming on air. And it's because people love it. Like once you get involved, you develop a love for it. But in story selections, that's always one of the things that I wanted to ask, because we see the Chiclero story showing. Victoria Peak was a great example for you. I know you even did some of the international stories when you went to Guatemala to cover inaugurations there.
Yes.
It's so crucial in the news, the selection of stories, what you choose to cover. Let's talk about your angle. There's clearly an environmental inclination from early.
Yes. It's if you're let's look at being a news director. Carla was one of our original news directors, and she's your news director. Now, yes, it's going to reflect some of your personal preferences. At that time, when I was news director for a large part of the time, and even as general manager, crime was not my big thing. Feature stories were very important to me. Environmental stories, remember, I had been a journalist in the magazine business for 5 years prior to that, so, if truth be told, a lot of the television features were recycled magazine stories. So
I'll go back through Brockdown and see then.
Yeah, well, okay, Brockdown, we did a great feature on Mr. Peters and Boom and Shine. So how many times was Boom and Shine featured on Channel 5? Many times. Because my training was in politics and economics, I think we focused a little more on economic stories. I think that that area, particularly if I can point out a shortcoming in news coverage today, because I think a lot of the reporters may not have the economic expertise. They tend to shy away from those stories. So you do stories when every quarter SIB does their quarterly dog and pony show. They're putting out a lot of data there, but I don't see a lot of in the media analysis of that data. What are the trends? What does it mean? So to just throw up a number, these were the imports, these were the exports. I think a lot of the public is being a little bit shortchanged. I think you mentioned the choice of coverage. Well, an important, very important factor is not what you cover, but what you don't cover.
Mm.
Okay, what don't we cover in the media in Belize? We don't like to talk about race. We don't like to talk about demographics. We don't like to talk about, let me give you an example. Two ethnic groups in Belize that have come to dominate many parts of the economy. So you have the mainland Chinese owning virtually the entire grocery business in Belize. You have the Mennonites who started out in farming, kind of went into road building and construction, now own all the tire franchises, the new car dealerships. These are dynamic things happening in the economy, and they influence our society presently and in the future, because those two groups the examples I gave, tend to be kind of insular. You don't see a lot of intermarriage or a lot of intercultural things. Who could have imagined 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago that the Mennonites were going to have go on, essentially sue the government, have a motorcade, go on strike? Mennonites don't do that. I think that was a real, a very important moment in Belize's cultural history. And of course the media reported on it, but I think there are some very large implications of that.
Yeah.
Not saying good or bad or the other, but those are among the things we don't like to talk about. We don't like to ask why 40 years ago all the groceries were owned by
Belizean,
native-born
your neighbor's
Belizeans,
store.
and today they're owned by people who came here and maybe first generation.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we need to question some of those assumptions and do a little more in-depth reporting.
Yeah.
And people don't like to talk about that in general. The population, we don't talk about it. Or we pretend like it's not there. We will talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll grumble about it.
We grumble about it in the room, you know.
But
we tend to be comfortable with the elephant in the room.
Yes. And we tend to shy away from human interest piece that we think might be sensitive for other people, because really and truly what you put in the media, people take it as the Bible, right? So you want to be 100% careful of what you put out. And a conversation with the topics that you just said is very important for us to talk about as a country. But if the politician won't talk about it or acknowledge it, if the classroom won't talk about it and acknowledge it, then we will just continue to pretend like it doesn't exist.
Yeah. I mean,
so how
I
can
don't
the
know how
media talk about it if we don't want to hear about it?
See, well, we don't know how the conversation will end.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes you start a conversation that leads in wrong direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
but
nobody
there's-
wants to be wrong.
So, but I want let's bring it back for a moment. Now we got the Laura in the Morning clip up. When you started to move from just the news production to expanding, you did the morning show with Laura in the Morning. There was Veranda Tales,
Yes.
version 1. We did a version 2 a few years ago, and KTV.
KTV.
I want to know how they twisted
Yes.
your arm into doing KTV. Nighttime production, karaoke. It doesn't quite match, sort.
No, I mean, I think KTV was the singularly most successful
Yes.
non-news program that Channel 5 has
Yes.
ever done.
Yes.
That was, I mean, I can remember that show started off.
Bellevue.
I think it started at Bellevue. I think that's a case where the staff was way ahead of me in terms of thinking big.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, so I thought of KTV as a little thing. Yeah, let's do it in the backyard of the Bellevue.
Yeah.
You know, get a dozen or 2 dozen people in the audience. It was essentially a small program, and people liked it. And then we migrated to Calypso, a little bit bigger venue. Okay, a little more commercial, and people liked it even more. Then we moved it to the veranda of the Bliss.
Yeah.
And you know,
Not even inside the
not
business.
even. Oh
It
no!
was like step by step. Yeah.
Exactly by the steps. And duh, I mean, I was afraid to go big from the start. That obviously that's what we should have done. It was a limitation of my thinking.
Yeah.
But some of those nights at KTV, I can recall just a packed bliss and people going crazy.
Yeah.
And some of the performances were just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you look at some of the people back then who were very young, and some went on to larger careers. And I think some people, their fame, kind of ordinary people, but their fame lives on.
Yeah. Yeah.
On KTV, yes.
I can remember some of the names, some of the drama behind it.
But yeah, there's always drama behind the scenes too.
Huge drama behind the scenes.
When you have voting or competitions of any kind.
There were accusations of rigging and people buying votes, and which politician was buying thousands of votes for this one. I remember Mary Rayburn is the producer.
She
of
was the first
original.
producer.
Yes, she did a great job, and the judges. I mean, talk about Anne Marie and Santi, and my God.
Yeah, feels like ages ago, and it lives on. I mean,
it lived on and on and on and on and on.
And we still hear people. I mean, if we do a poll right now, who, if they're ready for it to come back, they want it.
Yes.
It's entertainment.
It is.
It's Belizean entertainment.
Yeah, and I think, shows like that actually brought the country together. And that's important. Because of the fragmentation of the media, to get a show that really gets everyone watching, that's crucial. I think we need more of that.
Yeah, yeah. And it's two schools of people. It's people who loved it and people who loved to hate it, but they all watched it. And I think that carries on today.
Yes.
But what's the one story you find yourself sharing with people when you tell them of your history of working in television?
Some of the stories actually cannot be told on live television or
Okay,
recorded
let's get the TV appropriate one,
but,
please.
Oh God.
Put him on the spot.
You should have prepped me for this one.
Why would I? Did you prep guests before?
Actually, no.
Exactly.
Never. Exactly. I just think some of the drama in the newsroom.
Yeah.
One of my favorite characters, you had it in the documentary, Delroy Cutkelvin. I haven't seen Delroy in years. I don't know what Delroy is doing now.
Yeah.
But as a reporter, Delroy could have been one of the great ones. He just had a knack for storytelling.
Yeah.
I won't go beyond that because I don't want to not mention someone's name. But that we've had some great reporters there.
So many people have gotten their start at Channel 5. I mean, even in putting together the documentary, it was difficult to be able to get everyone involved or included. But it is one of those things where I think if you've worked on television, and especially working with Channel 5, where our standards are so high, it really opens you up to learning a lot more, and then being able to grow in this career or anything else.
Yeah, yes, I will make an apology. I was a rough boss. I have, so I wanted to take this opportunity to apologize to the dozens, if not scores, of people I offended on staff. It was done for a good reason, but I realized at the time I probably was a little rougher than I should have been. On people. Could have been a little bit kinder and gentler and more mentoring type person. But it was great. I mean, even you take someone like a master control operator, which is essentially an entry-level job at Channel 5. I would go into a government department and see, like, who's the department head? Oh, yeah, didn't you used to be an MCO at Channel 5? Yeah, okay. Yes, Mr. Crone, that was my first job. Gee, I mean, some very, people, big people in society got their start there, and it's really gratifying to see. I mean, you are the CEO of major media companies.
I share this story all the time. I showed up to have a meeting with you about doing teen reporters on Channel 5.
You remember that?
And after I made my big pitch, he looked at me and says, Would you anchor the news?
Just like that.
Have I thought about it? That was the question, not
Well, you have to
that.
understand that our original system, the anchor was not at the heart
Yeah.
of our system. I mean, some nights it was Jackie, some nights it
Yeah.
was Janelle, some nights Anne-Marie, sometimes Ernesto. It was like, well, who's available today?
Yeah.
The anchor wasn't as important as the news.
And they had tough jobs, like reporting all day and then having to get
Oh
on
God,
set. That
you know,
was,
all of,
yeah.
I think it was like $50 extra you got. It was miserable pay. But yeah, it was a tough go. And I'm not saying that when you became the anchor, it suddenly shifted, but I think it was. I mean, I think you brought a lot to the anchor desk when you.
No, I'm not fishing for compliments. I'm just saying that you had this opportunity. You were able to discover things in people that maybe they didn't see in themselves. And
yeah.
I know William shares that same story because he has shared the story where he was an MCO as well, the entry-level job, and did testing on air, and
Yeah.
that's how it all started.
Well, I will attribute. I remember it was Carla Huchner who came to me. I think Carla had been a teacher. I think she taught with William at St. Catherine's or something. And Carla said, "Well, you know, I've got this friend who I think would really work well here. Do you have a job for him?" And William started pulling cable in the technician department. He wasn't even a master control operator. He was lower than a master control operator. He was just kind of a production assistant. And but we detected his talent early on. Yeah, that's important to give people a chance to discover someone like Kendra Griffith.
Yes.
Who was our news assistant
assistant.
forever, and we was like pulling teeth to try and get her to come on camera. And I'll give her a plug. She now operates a cafe in San Pedro with her sister Delani, who also worked for us.
Yes.
And I
Also did the news assistant to reporter jump
exactly
as well.
went from one sister
Yeah.
to another.
Yeah.
I mean you know, you asked me about the most memorable times, and you know, I can just recall some of the arguments in the newsroom. My God, I mean, arguments over a single word or this or that. But it's fun. It's that creative tension that's important.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are completely out of time, but I do want to just close with this. If you were to say, and people have watched you as well. You used to report. I know.
Not by choice, by the way.
Yeah, but you also did like your editorial piece at the end of the news. I forgot what it was called. You
Now
did
and
that for a
then,
while
yeah.
too. But what do you say to people who've been watching Channel 5? What the anniversary means for you? 30 years later, TV version.
You know, I think the role that a leading TV station or any media outlet that gets a certain amount of people watching or listening, to emphasize the responsibility. It's a lot of people are affected by what you do. So whether it's a grieving relative that you're trying to interview, I do not like grieving relative interviews. Okay, I will express my prejudice there. But a lot of people, I think you had mentioned it before, what you do with people, a lot of people think it's very important. So if you're in the media, it's kind of jaded. It's another interview I got to do. It's not important to you as a reporter, but check yourself, because what you do with people out there is very, very important.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, there's a big responsibility. That's my message.
Well, thank you for coming in and having this conversation.
Thank you, and I hope when you reach 40, you'll bring me back
Okay.
again.
That's soon, so.
Make a promise. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Stuart. And we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll be shifting gears to talk about the Christmas Bram. So please, stay tuned.
Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor and you'll be 35% more productive. At Fulltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
When something is good and you can save, that makes it even better. Like this guy, he buys Flex bundles using his promo credit. No worries when his primary credit is finished. He gets talk, text, and data for free. Or her, she calls her family internationally with her promo credit. And with data packages so affordable, she even does video calls. Smart continues to offer great deals and affordable promotions. As a small business owner, she saves when she uses her promo credit to call the other guys. All Smart customers enjoy more triple days and knowing they can use their promo credit, which just lasts longer. Smart, bringing people together.
Morning, B.
Ready for full layback?
Yes, man. Just grab the rope and I will put down the camera. My name is Josh Marin. I'm a commercial fisherman out of San Pedro and I've been fishing my whole life. We've been noticing that each and every time we go out, we have to find further grounds. So when I heard about the program, I found it as a very good business opportunity. Other fishermen, when they go out, they tend to bring in everything and anything, and that's what me and my crew don't do. We practice responsible fishing.
Just show me how the app works, G.
Easy thing, bro. All we gotta do is we're gonna put in how much fish we catch right here. Today we get 15 pounds of champagne and 30 pounds of queens. We have punch that in and that's all. Oh, one more thing.
We're back. We are here joined by our two representatives from ICA and the BDF Harmonic Militant. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Kim Vasquez and Captain Kevin Campbell. We have here on the couch today.
Yes.
How are you guys?
Very well. Good.
I am very excited about this Christmas prom. I am all about culture and I'm very much aware of what you guys have been doing, but can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind this and how the BDF Militant got involved?
Start with that.
Oh, well, we are forging a partnership with the Ministry of Culture, Education and Culture. The Belize Defense Force Band is much more than a marching band. People love to say, oh, it's a marching band. A military band comprises of people who are multi-talented. They can form different small ensembles and so on. And as we evolve, as the Belize Defense Force Band evolves, we are hoping to take it to that regular level where you can have a full-time job as a military musician. And we're moving there slowly. And we have a group of young persons. And you know, young people don't want to stick to that classical music that I know about. They want to have different genres. And so they came together, and we now have this ensemble that plays Brockdown now. They play,
Soca,
right?
Paranda, you name it.
And the name of that ensemble, under the umbrella, of course, of the band of the Belize Defense Force, is the Harmonic Militants. And these young men have been working. They made their debut.
That sounds so sure. It's like you hear beautiful music, and then I feel like I have to straighten up.
Yes, right.
Harmonic.
Yeah, you will see them in their tie because they made their debut on the 20th night.
Okay.
And that, you know, you see them in their tie. They're all, you know, all formal and stuff because they do wear uniforms, and then they begin to shake out well.
Yeah. All right.
And so that's where we're at.
Okay, so I'm getting the right vibe from it.
Definitely.
Okay, good.
As a matter of fact, they said to us, for the Bram, we want to put on some t-shirt. We no t-shirt. We don't have to perform in a uniform.
Yeah.
That's the look right there.
And dance.
And dance up in a uniform.
Yeah. So people know we're versatile like that,
That's
right?
That's it.
But let me jump back to this. Kim, a Christmas Bram. First of all, Brams allowed right now?
Of course we know. Listen, we know that Bram in the traditional sense is in your house.
Yeah.
Right? With your social bubble.
Yes.
Right? So we should be doing that safely as we can, because we have to keep these traditions alive. And Bram a part of Creole, a part of Belize Christmas. We Bram the government house before, like I said, niche, right? And where we have been trying to take Bram to a festival level. Right, where we've done it before, like I said, where we got the rum and the sorrel wine and the black cake. I don't want to say too much because then we can't have it that way yet. But we could have a mini version right now with a limited audience.
Okay.
Right? And then we can look at airing it afterwards and streaming it afterwards, right?
Yeah.
But the beauty of this one here that we're doing Saturday is that we have a small audience. We're doing it as safely as we can. If you get your tickets, we have a limited amount of tickets. If you get them early, you can even arrange to have a scenario where you are seated or placed within your group that you want to bring.
Your own bubble.
Your own bubble.
So if me and my bubble come, they can sit together.
Yes, so we have to make the arrangement early. Yeah. We have to tell it, right? And so, like I said, we have a limited amount of people that we can take there. But the beauty of it is, again, like we get for Bram, it's not a sit-down show. No. So if you get that area there, don't think you just want to sit down there and watch.
You get up.
You get up for Bram, right? And that's why we brought in the National Dance Company, that in case you had forgotten, because you know Bram long time, they wanted to teach you.
Yeah.
And it's in the format of like we're utilizing a lot of call and response. So they can sing, right? So it is a true concert we're doing, but at a smaller level.
I'm glad you know, because that's the question I have. You said you slow us down on the sorrel wine just now. Like, don't expect everything. There will be a fire hot in the middle of the blaze.
No.
But let's talk about the elements that you chose to keep and ensure that is included, and how this fits into the cultural context of. We said Bram easy, but it's such a core part of Creole culture.
It is, and it is such a part of Christmas in Belize, right? And so you could expect to hear that good morning, that good morning, Miss Lady. But what I like with the Harmonic Militant is that you're hearing broke down in a different style, right? Like I said, we need to evolve, but we also need to preserve, right? And this is where the two of them meet, right? You're going to hear some renditions that you have not heard this way before, like with the horn section that the militant have. So think 11 Bokatura with the horn section.
It's a good merging. It's a nice
balance.
Nice balance.
And like I said, this is the first time this ensemble will perform broke down music because you know they've done paranda, they've done soca,
punta, they do a lot of,
they
love Garifuna music.
They love Garifuna music.
Even
They
double,
even could
you know.
dance Jankuno Samani.
Indeed.
What?
Indeed.
A couple of them also play steel pan.
And they're beating the drums too?
Yeah, all of that, shaka, everything.
I see the turtle shell too.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I hope they tune it properly.
Yeah, you want to see the
I find that
turtle.
interesting.
You want to see the turtle shell?
Tune a turtle shell, sir.
Yes, yeah.
So there we have a little bit of what they look
Right,
like.
right.
Oh, I love it.
But
Culture.
all right.
Yeah, there's the horn section.
There you go.
There's the horn section coming. Yeah.
So we're musing at the music,
Yes.
but let's just talk about what's happening there too. And this really comes back to the core of having a cultural event like this. You have your more senior members and you have your younger members, and they're all learning to play music that maybe they would have never been exposed to.
Indeed. Well, I wouldn't say a much of the senior members, because sometimes I know you know about the great Ivo Cacho.
Yes.
He plays with them from time to time, but as this group now comes together, you could look there and you would see only young men, young people coming together, and the whole idea is to make sure that they get a cross section of exposure to different genres. So when they work with Mr. Sanker now,
Yes, we have to mention that.
you have to remember,
Because that's a
remember James
partnership,
Sanker.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
They are the technical persons, because these guys now also have to get that military training, like what I was referring to earlier. So they have to do all the formal stuff. As a matter of fact, tomorrow they'll be playing at the police passing out parade.
Okay.
Totally different genre of music. So it's about the balance. Now many of our senior people, as you know, are pretty set in their ways. This is the way I play. And the only this I want to play. You know, so it's about creating that delicate balance for the young people as they begin to really study music, because we want to have them having a career. In September, we were fortunate to have the band of the Grenadier Guards there, and that was 35 strong. And that's what they do full-time in London. And that's a part of their tourism product, really. Many people ignore that. And so as you took issue with me saying the developed country, but money is the issue. Money is an issue, and many people will say, oh, you can't make money studying music. Because we have to be honest, we are not equally valued. I can tell you that as a musician growing up in Belize, we are not equally valued. So now, as I get to sit in this office as director of music, my intent is to make sure that these young people get an opportunity to really study music, be qualified, and we are marketable internationally. That's my vision.
I would imagine that it takes a lot of prep time. How often do they have to be rehearsing in order to...
Well, that is where the shared objectives come into play. Because here we have this section of the BDF band, and they need a little something extra right now because they're in a development phase. So after our initial partnership for the September celebrations, we met to discuss what we can do to help them via niche and the Artist Development Center, which is Mr. James Sanker, to continue to help them to develop a repertoire. They already had the Garifuna and Soca, now they pick up the broke down. And to continue to have a space where they can rehearse freely.
Infrastructure.
Right? Infrastructure.
Infrastructure, that's so important.
Right, they are now part-time. I don't want to say they live that bliss.
You're sheltered there in an environment that is conducive to music. That's right. Because if I can add now,
they're in an environment that is supportive of what they're trying to achieve. They
and
have
there are
made
few
the bliss
spaces that you can do that.
and that's where the Bliss Center can come into play, right? Even during this pandemic time, this is where we can continue to make sure that culture and music stays alive, that they have an infrastructure, they have a place to call a second home where they can be rehearsing.
So how did the preparations come for this Christmas Bram? When did you decide, okay, this that year, we can do Christmas Bram, Harmonic Militant will come in. What were the preparations
Along
for
with
that?
Mr. James Sanker, we had been talking about the possibility of trying to have a Bram without taking it up to the higher heads, just among ourselves. And when the board at Niche suggested to us, could it be possible for us to try to have something? Once you tell me that, That's all you need for
Yeah, you were ready.
You are already prepared.
That is the script. Indeed.
Then I called Mr. Sankar and said, remember the idea about the Brahma we made the bounce boat? I think we could do something, and I think we need to bring in the harmonic militant. Right? And that's where these synergies are so important.
The dance company, it's
And
a
the
nice,
dance
and the
company.
pans, so you're gonna
And
have
pandemonium,
yes,
we can't let out
can't leave them
pandemonium
out.
because you know pandemonium is making a comeback as well. They've gone dormant and they came and they haul out their pan and then do the inventory and they're starting to rehearse again. So we gotta make mention of pandemonium. We gotta make mention of this young lady Terry the Broke Down Girl. Again, and that's why like these collaborations are so important because she's trying to pick up that female Broke Down song to carry that legacy from Miss Leela.
I know.
And she needs a band to perform with. Enter the harmonic militant.
So you've been practicing with her?
Yes,
Indeed.
we've been practicing with her.
Indeed,
Love it.
indeed.
Does she do original songs too, or
She
she's doing
has
more
her
traditional?
own Christmas Broke Down song she's going to perform out there as well. And we have some junior artists who are in this thing as well.
You keep saying small scale, but the more and more you bring up these artists,
yes, but
they're
that's
definitely...
the beauty of it. It compact. And I don't want to use the word mini and you think that there is nothing there. This is a lovely show.
Being promoted on Channel 5 on large
Yeah,
scale.
oh, wow, yes.
Because I have to push Madam CEO that in January the BDA celebrates its anniversary. So definitely we'll be approaching Channel 5 to help us as we use the technology more. You know, all skilled persons like myself. I love technology, but not everybody in the BDF loves it. But it's the way to go.
Yeah.
So we definitely will be looking to you guys to support us
Yeah.
in our anniversary. We'll be having a telethon. It'll be all one day. And on behalf of the ministry, the Honorable Marin and Mira, the CEO, Brigadier General Tapia, our outgoing General, Brigadier General Stephen Ortega, and incoming Colonel Loria. We want to wish, using this platform, everybody, yourselves, the nation, the diaspora, a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, thank you. And I think that, you know, Kim knows a long time too. We love talk culture and everything that's happening at the Bliss, from for the kids, for the adults, and everybody in between. We should say now that you're probably moving venue, right?
Yes.
So it's not going to be outdoors at the government house.
Yes, we're looking at the weather and we're noticing that it is calling for heavy showers straight throughout the weekend. So we're probably going to move to the Bliss Center. But it will be the same. You will still be able to stand up. You will still be able to dance. You will still be able to be safely socially distanced. And of course, masking is going to be enforced. Hand sanitizing, all of the safety protocols, right? It's just that you will not be at government house, right? You will still be able to dance and wind up.
So when's the last time there was a production at Bliss?
Well, we've had some small ones, very small. You just haven't heard about them because they've not been publicized.
Oh.
So I don't want to give the impression that nothing has happened. We've had recitals there.
Yeah, like you recorded stuff.
And socially distanced as well. We block off the seat. We work out a seating arrangement. So, you know,
COVID protocols.
The COVID protocols, right.
Yeah.
So speaking of COVID protocols, how many people do you have a particular cutoff at how many people can attend?
Yes, 150 we are saying, right? Thereabouts, right? And like I said, that is fine as well, because even if you know, even looking beyond that, right? We know that the capacity for the Bliss is close to $600. 600
people.
Right? So you know, you're able to, you know, if you think about downsizing that number, that allows us to space off the seating, especially if we utilize the 2 tiers.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said $10 for adults, $5 for picnic, the standard.
Ticket pricing.
Yes, yes, exactly. And it is a family show, right?
Yes. So we got Pandemonium.
Yes.
We have you and your very talented Philharmonic militant.
Harmonic militant.
Harmonic militant.
Got it right.
Yes. And we have Miss Terry the Broke Down Girl and Belize National Dance Company.
Yes.
To remind us how to broke down.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
You have to work out the hips. It's been a while, right?
Get the bram lessons.
Yeah.
I think that Belizeans are not aware that there is an actual step to the broke down.
Oh,
you have to
is it? Do you want to show us?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay.
But
there's a number
of steps.
We're going to go through them.
And the Belize Dance Company I show away, the Terry the Broke Down Girl I show away. And I just find it refreshing that you guys are bringing this back and something that promotes Belizean culture, because people are not aware that Bram is they would come to your house.
Yes.
So they come to your house, you serve them when they're done, your cake and your Rompopo and your sorrel wine, and then they move on. So the fact that you are promoting the bubble, I think brings that little bit of culture heritage back to life.
And this is the way we need to go, because we need to take those practices and create a tourism product.
Yes,
right? We know how we do it home, but we want to elevate it to a festival level.
Yeah. So that'd be like cake and
we wish we would have the light cake, and we wish we could have the Rompopo.
Can't reach there yet.
We can't reach
Can't
there
reach
yet.
there yet.
All right.
But this is the comeback. Let's hope and pray that this is the, that post-COVID we get back, a festival type bram where we have all of the elements there as well. Right?
No, I think it's so positive at the end of 2021 to be at the stage where there is a public, an event open to the public, limited seating, to just remind us that we can make a turn in the right direction.
And we will.
And preserve your Belizeanness at the same time.
And health.
And health.
All right, so limited tickets, that's a very limited number. Where do people get them?
You can get them at Government House, right at the House of Culture there. As you go right at the gate, you just say, I'm here to purchase tickets, and you will be escorted to how you can purchase your tickets, all right? Or you can message us or call us at the Bliss Center. If that's what, because last night we were there in rehearsal 6 o'clock and people made the show up for buy ticket. So if that's what you're comfortable with, you can call us to reserve it, and we will facilitate that as well.
Yes, for those that don't live in Belize City and want to travel to come to see the bram, how can they can also call and reserve?
They can call, yes.
Okay.
Feel free to message our Facebook page, to pick up the phone and call. Like I said, if you want to discuss a social pod with us, do that now.
Yeah, I like
do that today.
I like that idea, that social pod idea.
So that gives you an opportunity to dance and enjoy great music and really get into that Christmas spirit.
And if the few queries I've had via the phone and via the page are all along that line, where I'm seeing that it's a group of 5 of us coming, and we want to be together. And I think that is that we are going with that mindset. That this is how we will socially interact with each other. We will find these venues and we will go with our bubble.
Are there vaccination requirements, or?
I'm not too certain about that, so I don't want to respond off the top of my head. But I know that masking will be enforced, and like I said, all the normal safety protocols will be in place.
All right. So the bram happens most likely at the Bliss.
Yes.
And I think that's an occasion to get back there itself. This Saturday.
Yes.
Show starts at
6.
So be there. Get your tickets
now. Now would be the time. We're already on Thursday.
Get in the car or call them and reserve and see how you can work it out, because once those seats are filled, that's it.
That's it.
It's going to be a great show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
All right. With that, we're going to go into our second break and be back for some Rompopo.
Yeah. You bring the cake?
Stay tuned.
We get a Rompopo. We'll be back.
With eCash, bill payment is extremely convenient, and all utility companies accept eCash payments. What's even better, you get to split bills with your roommates, siblings, or whoever you desire. Simply open your eCash app, go to Bill Pay, tap the respective utility company, enter the information, and pay the bill. Then tap the transaction made. Tap Split the bill. Select Evenly. Send the request to who you are splitting the bill with, and get notified when they pay. Talk about making life easy and avoiding confusion. You can split the bill for restaurants, grocery stores, and for any eCash payment you make. To find your next yummy meal, hair treatment, or chill spot, simply open the app and utilize the geolocation service to see nearby businesses that accept eCash. Geolocation and bill payment make life a whole lot easier.
Bringing people together has always been Smart's mission and passion. That is why we are proud to have built a locally independent quality network from the ground up that spans the country with over 100 sites. We continue to add more affordable mobile data packages, broadband speeds, and voice services to meet your personal and business needs. Smart has set the standard of true competition with the most competitive prices on all services offered. We invite and welcome you to join the Smart family, where the value for your dollar matters. Smart will continue bringing new technologies, more affordable prices, network expansions, and people together. Smart, bringing people together.
I am Glenda Brown, and I lost my husband, Henry Brown Sr., to COVID. He was a pastor, and he loved the Lord. He got saved at age 16, and he did his best to walk with the Lord. When he was admitted, I said, well, it's good. He needed oxygen, and that is going to move up, and then, he's going to be back. But it didn't happen that way. Eventually, he got intubated and sedated, and that was the part when we realized, it is getting real worse. We don't know what is happening. We prayed with him, we spoke encouraging words, but we weren't getting a response. We hope he heard, but I don't know. I eventually reached hospital unplanned. I spent an overnight in there Monday. That night, because I was tested positive, the doctor allowed me to go and see Henry. And so it was so good to be able to go to his ward. I get to rub his head. But he was saying he didn't think Henry was going to make it. There were much prayers going out on his behalf. But I knew God's will was what was going to be done. I think for me that did a lot. Even now, to could remember that I was able to, touch him and see him those last moments, just the day before he passed. I just thank God for that opportunity. COVID is terrible once it comes to your home. It's something else because you have to quarantine. It's painful. All of a sudden, the connection within the family break down. When Henry passed, the children came and they came to my room. I have windows on both sides of the house, and so that was how we communicated. We spoke from there. Even the funeral arrangement and all these things had to be done. And I went out there to see the vehicle pass. I didn't know they would stop, but I'm glad they did. And so I made my way to the street side. I had COVID, so I knew I had to keep a certain distance from other people. To look at that casket in that vehicle and know that Henry is in there. I watched online. It was so hard. I mean, this is Henry. He's gone. He's not going to be back again. Henry hadn't been vaccinated. He didn't want to be vaccinated. I was told that he said to someone in the hospital while he was there that if he gets out or when he gets out, he was going to get vaccinated. I know it's not the only prevention. Washing your hands, doing the other thing, taking your meds does help. So there's a number of things to do, and I encourage people to do all of them. God does protect us, but we are also not to put God to the test. And so I encourage people to do what needs to be done. There's a lot of things I missed him, just not having him coming home again. It's a journey ahead that I am trusting God to take me through. I know He will.
And we're back, and we said that we are going to be getting you ready for Christmas. Well, what is Christmas without your Rompopo? And back with us once again is Kojak Smith of Kojak's Sumptuous Rompopo.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
It still has the sumptuous in there, right?
Still have the sumptuous.
Okay, just to make sure.
That hasn't changed as yet.
Okay, good. Good morning and welcome back.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, guys. You know, this has become part of tradition for Five and for myself.
Yes.
To be a part of Open Your Eyes right before the Christmas sprint.
And to tell us all the new flavors that you are cooking up. I see quite a bit in front of me.
Yep, we'll go through everything and tell you all the other packages we have and other products that we're offering this year.
And I brought you a brand new sampler too, so,
Yes,
so,
I know,
so
I know.
somebody to be converted.
Yes, definitely.
I am excited to be converted.
You won't be the first nor the last.
Awesome. So what are you making for us this
All right,
morning?
I'll be making the original classic vanilla Rompopo.
All right. So now, to everybody at home, Kojak will be walking us through the basics of the recipe, but he does make this for sale, so there'll be some little secrets that he's going to leave out.
Yes.
But technique, you'll tell us.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right. So.
All right. First,
So
we
the
start off with eggs.
You know, I'm not a Rompopo maker, but I know that the secret to Rompopo is how well you blend your eggs. Yes? No? Correct me.
It really depends. To me, my secret is just do it with a passion and love. That's basic secret.
You're done to start with the not telling us what he's going to do.
All right, so we got
adding
some
the eggs. Adding the
eggs.
eggs.
We're making one blender full, right?
Yes, one blender full. We're adding the essence.
All right. That's to taste.
Yes, to taste.
Okay.
I eyeball everything. Strangely as it sounds, I eyeball everything.
Okay. And what are
Adding
you?
the seasoning.
Which would typically include cinnamon, nutmeg.
Whatever you want to add in it, just to make sure it's just exactly how you want to deal it.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're adding the sweetener, basic condensed milk.
Okay. If I'm doing this at home, how much condensed milk?
It really depends on your taste and your preference.
And how much does one blender give you?
Let me see, about 4 or 5 glasses.
So a family size.
Yeah, definitely a family size.
Say that's enough for me in one night.
I better think about 4 people, Marlene.
No, but actually, I do have customers that get back to me and tell me they literally drink a liter like one night, like one sitting.
We need to talk to some people.
No. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
So just like, we'll come back.
Come
more.
Yeah.
All right, wait.
Adding the rum. We're adding the rum.
We're adding the
Rum to taste.
And we miss one milk.
We're adding the evaporated milk.
Evaporated.
Yes.
So we add the rum to the popo. And any tips on rum selection?
Yes.
To be honest, I just use dark rum, but you
Okay.
can mix it up variations based on what you want to add. Some people may add brandy, some people add vodka. I've done some with whiskey as well, so it just depends on what you want to add it.
What's the difference between Rompopo and eggnog?
The rum.
Okay.
Yeah, the rum. All right. I think we have everything.
Okay.
So it seems so.
Yeah, more or less.
And there we got
blender action.
So there we got it. We got 2 eggs. We have vanilla essence. Your spices that you prefer. Cinnamon. I like cinnamon and nutmeg together. Evaporated milk, condensed milk,
rum.
and then rum.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't ask how much rum, but I feel like that's preference.
Yes.
Do you find that more people want to taste the rum? You always get that with people who make alcoholic beverages.
That's the thing. I normally have customers that will say, oh, I want a little extra rum, or some that say, all right, I want less rum. So I just really have to mix it up according to different customers' preference.
So you need like an extra strength version and a regular version?
And we do customizations for our customers.
Okay. So when we look at, I mean, Kojak, you've been doing this for how many years now? Is it?
Going on 12 years.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you sell
and
your products?
over all those years, There are a lot of different people who offer Rompopo, but you have still been able to maintain your clients and expand on that as well.
Yes, that's what we do. We at Kosher Sumptuous Rompopo, we just try to be original and try to mix it up. So we have different flavors. We'll go through the flavors shortly, but let me give you guys a sample of this.
Wow! Careful how you open the blender.
Now there's the gallon of Kojak Rompopo.
Yes.
Yes, we do sell the gallon as well.
Wow. And I guess that's good for a family of...
Don't try to measure. Just say it's good for,
good for everybody.
You know, maybe a family of 2.
Yes. And when it comes to how long it lasts, right? When you open it, how long should you keep Rompopo in the fridge?
Well, to be honest, my Rompopo, I normally have it frozen, as you can see. But frozen, it lasts 2-3 years. If you have it in the refrigerator, it could last between 6 to 12 months.
Oh, wow. All right, here we go. Preservation. Freshly made Kojak Sumptuous Rompopo. Now we're getting ready for the season.
Oh, wow.
Tastes like Christmas.
It's a good start to your morning.
That is delicious. Always is, though. All right. So
save space for the others.
I was about to say, let me not have too much because I understand that we are going to be sampling the brand new flavors.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about these flavors. I am particularly, you already know which one I'm particularly curious about, the vegan flavored Rompopo.
All right.
So
Marlene,
let's talk
take your
about
pick. Which one you want to start with first?
I was trying to see why does this one? What is this?
This is a sorrel. This is actually new this year. Yes, this is actually new this year.
Yeah.
It's one of our new flavors.
So let me just show it in comparison to others so people can see the color difference here.
Purple.
So we have that's this one. So you can see there's a difference in the color.
Yes.
And you ventured into creating. This is sorrel is a flavor for our season too. So you got Rompopo and sorrel.
So what we do, we mix the fruity flavor of the sorrel, and then we mix it up with our signature Rompopo, and so we got this sorrel Rompopo. It's just something that we wanted to try this year to touch a little on a local fruit that's traditional.
This is the pumpkin spice, I think.
Yes, it is.
It's a good one. I think I've tried this in store.
You tried that one?
I think so.
Green. Okay, I won't give it all.
There's one with a white chocolate somewhere in there.
I had that last year. That was.
All right.
Yes.
There you go.
All right, so now we're trying for the first time.
Sorrel.
Sorrel Rompopo.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's good.
You taste it in the end.
Yes. That after.
The
after flavor.
The first taste, I was like, well, it tastes like Rompopo, but in the end it hits you.
You have the little sorrel.
There's that bit of fruit and
it's really
flavor.
good. That's really, really good. Wow.
So you've been experimenting in your kitchen, haven't you?
Yes, we have.
Was this a tough one to be able to find the right balance?
Yeah, that one was difficult. Several testing and had to add a little extra ingredient just to bring out the sorrel a little bit more.
Yeah. Because the thing is, Rompopo is creamy.
Yes.
And sorrel is
that tangy.
fruity and tangy.
Yep.
No, you hit the balance because I do taste Rompopo, but that end you come in and you know it's thoroughly having delicious.
It's very delicious. I'm creative.
So there we have it, brand new to the market, sorrel Rompopo.
Sorrel Rompopo, yeah. That one is we sell it by the liter. That one is $30.
Okay, so you get a double Christmas edition.
Yes.
Now, what are the other ones?
You were asking for
the vegan. It's I think it's a trend this year where everybody is trying to go very healthy.
Yeah.
And so I'm very curious to know. And you're not gonna tell us your secret recipe, right?
No, I do have. It's vegan, so I do have to tell you some of it. We use almond milk, nut milk, and we use a vegan sweetener, and we use chia seeds for the egg replacement.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's fully vegan.
I would have never
all plant-based.
You started this one last year? Or was
Yes,
it?
this one is our third year coming back with the vegan.
So what's been the reaction so far?
It's been good. We're almost sold out of vegan actually. Yes, we have to bring in the ingredients, so we're almost sold out of vegan. So guys, if you want to get your vegan Rompopo, get it as quickly as possible.
Oh wow!
It doesn't look any different
Far
from the
more
other.
vegan people than
It's
with
lighter.
us.
It is lighter.
Okay, so it's not as creamy
Yeah.
as the others. Okay.
Well, I mean, if you went vegan, you probably thought Rompopo was on the list of things you'd never have again.
We
Because
don't
of the
want-
milk and the
We
eggs.
don't want to left no one out.
You
No one leaves
changed
out.
that.
No one leaves out.
All right. That's delicious, though.
You taste more of the spices.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I might switch to the vegan one just because it's delicious.
Yep.
It's really good.
It is lighter. It doesn't have that full cream texture, but that's because you don't have dairy in it.
Yes.
But people can get the taste of Christmas in their vegan Rompopo.
Yep, can't be left out. So you still have you could have your vegan plate of Christmas dinner, and you have your
And your
vegan,
vegan
Rompopo, along with maybe a vegan cake. So
The
you're
fact
fully
that you can
set.
have vegan Rompopo makes your Christmas dinner a little less sad.
Yep.
Just saying. It's okay. How do you live without ham?
I agree.
I must agree. That
I agree.
Less ham, but no. I mean, people do it for many reasons, for their own beliefs, and also for health reasons. So kudos to you, and you now have Rompopo that you can enjoy.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about your other flavors here. I'm seeing.
We still have more testing. Which one you want?
We got
All right.
more
Which one you want
testing
select?
to do.
Your
That's the one
daily
you
white
bring.
chocolate with
Let's do that
hazelnut.
last. Let's do that last.
Okay.
All right. So, can I do the big reveal?
Not yet. Not
Okay.
yet.
Oh.
Let's do the other flavors
Pumpkin
first. Whichever one you want to try.
spice,
Green apple.
All right. Let's try the green. That's new this year as
This
well.
is new.
Yes. It's actually the
Is it
Granny-
green
Granny
apple
Smith green apple.
flavor?
Yes, it's actually green apple flavored.
Like,
And
I mean, like artificial flavor, or you would like cooking up green apples?
No, I cooked up the green apple
Okay,
and
good.
I boil it and I stew it down and everything.
Perfect.
It's actually synonymous with my grandmother's name, so I dedicate this one to my grandmother as well.
Aww.
Yeah.
You're right, Smith, Granny Smith.
All right, we'll have to recycle the cups. I
Yes,
didn't bring
that's
them.
fine.
Which one does it? All right.
This is
the green apple. We'll just shake it up good.
All right, so tell us a bit about this one, the creation behind this one.
All right, this one, I pretty much stumbled onto this one. I just wanted to add a new flavor, and I figured that apples are still Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes, they
And
are.
so we decided to add the green apple in it this year.
How do you get the flavor?
We use the green apple. We puree the green apple, and we just add a little slight spices to it, just to help bring out the apple.
Smell the apple.
You do.
Really, really well.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, most people don't, but it's surprisingly, it's there. It's very
Yeah,
strong.
I mean,
Yes.
immediately as soon as I lift it up, I smell apple.
It tastes like apple pie with cinnamon and nutmeg. This is my favorite.
Kudos to you.
This is my favorite one.
Thanks.
It tastes like Rompopo apple.
Tastes like an apple pie with ice cream.
Yeah.
That's
All
really
right.
good. That's my favorite one so far.
All right, so these are two new flavors that are green apple and sorrel.
Yeah.
Pumpkin spice is one of the favorites too.
Yeah, that's a favorite.
That's a fall favorite. We're gonna put these back. I know they're open, but
No problem.
That sorrel and that green apple. That green apple, they compete with that sorrel.
yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite.
It's hard to pick a favorite.
See, that's the problem. You don't pick a flavor. You
just
just buy all. You just buy all. You just buy all.
Said like a real businessman.
You just buy all.
Then you offer people options. You see, you offer different alcohol. You can offer. We got the cups here.
Yes, because we do all our flavors without alcohol as well.
Nice. For the kids.
People.
Kids or adults, if you don't choose to use rum.
All right.
All right, that's the pumpkin.
This is
This
pumpkin
is one of our
spice.
main sellers.
Oh.
That's a pumpkin spice pie.
You know, you ever had
I should put this in my coffee.
pumpkin sweet? That's what this
Like
tastes
stew pumpkin.
Like stew pumpkin. That's what this tastes like.
Yep.
It's really good.
So do we
I'm
ha-
just
do
having
we
a
have
lot of
converter?
desserts.
Do we have a converter by
I'm
now,
having
April?
a lot of desserts in Rompopo, and that's great for my health. Yes,
So
you
you're
have
fully
converted
converted now.
me
I
to.
figured
You're
as
gonna
much.
have to pick your favorite by the end of the
I mean,
show.
he just told me by all, right?
Yeah, but you're still gonna have to pick one because our viewers will need guidance.
That green apple one is still a good
All right.
contender.
So yeah, I gotta stop because we got more coming.
Yes.
All right.
So you guys already tried the original. That's what you're drinking right there.
This is the original here.
Yep. So we'll go to the white.
The Ghirardelli.
Ghirardelli white chocolate with hazelnut.
This is.
That's your one.
This is the
All right, this is like
indulgent.
next to the original, the vanilla, classic vanilla. it's the Ghirardelli, then followed by the pumpkin.
Really? Those are your 3 top sellers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, white chocolate, that's good. Hold on. So we don't mix too many flavors.
And we'll have one more flavor after this.
Yeah.
Big reveal.
Because there is one brand new flavor that, let's just put it this way. If you have limited options for what you can consume at this time, you want to stay tuned because there's a new flavor about to drop.
A new flavor about to drop.
Because if you didn't have any more options.
We're just making sure that everyone has a sample of everything.
All right, so now we're having
the Ghirardelli white chocolate with hazelnut.
Wow. I love that you taste everything at the end.
Yeah.
That's a good blend.
Thanks, appreciate it.
This is just like the dessert that you long for.
Yes.
After you finish eating.
Exactly. In liquid form.
Yeah, in liquid form. I don't certainly taste the chocolate.
I don't like chocolate, but this.
Wait, what?
I don't like chocolate.
That's too much to unpack.
I'm sorry, but this is. The aftertaste is good because it's not an overpowering of the white chocolate, and then you have the hazelnuts, so it blends really. I'm sorry. I love food.
Are you a sweet person? Do you like sweets?
I love food.
No, but
just
are you a dessert person?
No.
Oh man.
But I'm a food person, and I love that. That's good.
All right, so let's walk through what we've done so far.
Right, we've done the Surreal, and we have those for $30 in the liter size. We did the vegan. The vegan is $40 in a liter. We did the green apple. The green apple is $40 as well. We did the pumpkin spice, which is $30, and we did the classic, the Ghirardelli white chocolate with hazelnut. That's $40 as well.
And then the classic Rompopo.
The classic Rompopo is $25 for the liter. All liter sizes.
Are you still doing orders primarily online? You're in stores? What's the...
You could order online at our WhatsApp number, 632-2622. Or you could hit us up on Facebook and message us. Or you could just call us.
All right. So it's time for the big reveal now?
Yes.
So 6 flavors down, one more to go.
There's this lonely little bottle here.
And it doesn't have a name.
For people who feel very lonely because they can't join into the Christmas fun of Rompopo drinking because they're on the keto diet.
Yep. So guys, we're debuting it today on Channel 5. Open your eyes. Our special keto Rompopo.
Wow.
Woohoo! All right, so for people who don't know, let's just talk about what the limitations are with keto.
Yes, it's basically mostly protein. You don't do sugar, cane sugar, and you do mostly
fats and protein.
Yes,
that's the predominant. You don't do carbohydrates.
Take out the carbs, as well.
All right, so then someone came to you and said, Kojak, I'm on the keto diet.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Wow. Can you please try to come up with something?
So it took me a little research and some time, and I had to import the ingredients. I just have it in very little quantities.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we actually finished it last night.
You finished it last night?
Yep.
So there's no...
No, we finished making it last night.
Oh, there's no more.
We finished making it last night. So this is brand new.
Fresh out of the fridge.
Fresh out the fridge.
Now, I will tell you the truth. I am extremely skeptical about this.
It's lighter. It's lighter.
Keto and Rompopo is like...
Well, I mean, I thought the same thing about the vegan.
The vegan,
so.
yeah, it's similar to the vegan, but just have to do different.
Can you walk us through the process, if you don't mind?
It's the same steps to making it. It's just that the ingredients are different because you're not using cane sugar, and pretty much everything having cane sugar.
Yeah.
So you got to use substitutes.
Well, I mean, with this one, you can use eggs, right?
Yes, you can use eggs.
because they can have
eggs. You can use eggs.
It's still not as creamy as the others, though.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. It's just because of the different ingredients. It's very lighter, so it's similar to the vegan.
Okay, let's see. I am not on the keto diet, so I'm going to find out how you guys on that other side are living. Let's see. And see if you're
Don't be scared.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
Use coconut milk.
Yes. a little hint. A little hint.
You're going to give out all his secrets.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it's keto, so it's pretty straightforward what you have to do in here.
It's good. It's not. It's not thick and creamy.
No.
And you can't because you can't use the condensed milk.
Yeah.
That gives it the
But
body.
But the coconut milk idea is good because then it gives that sweet without putting the sugar in.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
Keto. All right. So you've sacrificed a lot. You don't have to sacrifice your Rompopo, right?
Yeah, we make sure we try to get everybody. So no one can say that,
You're
oh,
left
we
out.
can't buy Rompopo because XYZ. No, we have a Rompopo for that.
All right.
Awesome. So there you have all the flavors and the prices.
Yes.
Nice.
All right. So what's available for how long? You said some are limited. Vegans limited.
Yes, vegan are limited and the keto is limited.
And the keto is limited. So you got to get, what's the price point for the keto?
The keto is 45.
Okay.
Yes.
So that one costs a bit more because that uses special ingredients.
Yes, it does.
And you have your classic for 25,
The
pumpkin
for
and
30.
sorrel
Mhm.
for 30, and all the others are 40 with
Yeah.
the exception of keto,
Keto.
which is 45.
Yes.
What was your favorite, Marlene?
Oh, I'm stuck.
You're stuck?
I'm stuck.
You don't have to be stuck. Just get them on.
try them
Get them on.
Yeah, you know, because I think like, I mean, I always love the white chocolate one because I have the biggest sweet tooth. And so that's like a dessert in a cup.
Yes, it is.
So you have a gift package for this
Yes.
Christmas season. Yes.
Speaking of which,
Uh-huh.
all right, since you can't quite decide exactly what you want, we offer a gift package to customers that they can get. It comes in four varieties. So it's 4 varieties at 16 ounces. So you could choose whatever 4 flavors you want for $90. And it also comes with a glass similar to the one that you're drinking of.
Yes, it has your signature on it.
Yes.
Lovely.
And nicely wrapped. You could do everything online. You could purchase it for yourself, or you could even purchase it for someone that you're planning to give a gift to.
Okay.
We even offer the service of delivering it on Christmas Day. So you
Oh,
could
wow.
you could WhatsApp us the order, make the payment online, and after that just tell us the location and we deliver it on Christmas Day.
Belize City.
Belize City, yes.
Yes.
With a little gift tag to and from home.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And
you have gift bottles too?
Yes, we have holiday bottles. These are $35 for the holiday gift bottles. It's some nice glass bottles, reusable,
yes.
with our brand on it. And we also have the small pint size, which is 25. We do customize it for the different flavors, but the price vary based on that.
Okay.
And I think we should tell our viewers about the
challenge.
Challenge giveaway.
Challenge?
Yes, we have a challenge. It's just basically take a picture of the Rompopo, give a little narrative about why you like the Rompopo, and post it. The most likes get to win.
Post it
And
on
post it
Facebook
share
and
on Facebook and Instagram, and the most likes get win. We have fabulous prizes: $100 cash. We have one of these gift packages you get with it as well, and we also have a cake
All right.
sponsored by MJ's Whisk. We've partnered with MJ's Whisk, and they provide us a cake for the challenge.
And when do we know? who the winner is? The
23rd.
23rd of December.
Yes.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Wait, one more thing, sorry to cut
Tell
you
us.
across.
Yes.
We have also partnered with the Bird's Eye restaurant. So when you go and get your favorite food from Bird's Eye, you could order sumptuous Rompopo by the glass.
Wow.
Yeah, so we are getting in restaurants as well.
I did have a question about that. So where can we find your Rompopo if we don't order it with you online?
At this present time, we're not in stores, but you could always get us online. And if you, at the Bird's Eye, you're ordering your food, and you could just get, rather than get a Bailey's Colada, you could get sumptuous Rompopo.
That's a great idea.
I want a Rompopo colada.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yes, but it's not 5 o'clock or Friday. So
Okay.
It's 5 o'clock
Somewhere else, yes.
Somewhere.
So 7 flavors.
Yes.
7 flavors.
7 flavors.
Different variety. Nobody's left out this Christmas.
Nobody.
And they're all at an affordable price. Support local, everybody.
Yes,
All
that's it. That's it.
Well, Coach Jack, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for sharing your big reveal with us this
Yeah.
morning.
Yes.
I know quite a few people who are on keto. They're going to be happy they can have their Rompopo. And it's going to be just that sweet kick that they have longed for a
Exactly.
long time. So you can also get your vegan options and all the different flavors. Find Kojak's Sumptuous Rompopo on Facebook and Instagram. Follow, take part in the competition, and
get yourself some free Rompopo.
Yep. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
Season's greetings to you, and thank
Season
you once
greetings.
again.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take that final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.
It's a fact that your credit lasts longer when using Smart. During these times, we're all trying to find ways to cut costs and save the little resources we have. With Smart, it's easy to do that. It's a fact that with Smart, your credit lasts longer. You can call Smart to Smart and Smart to Digi using your promo credit, while with the other guy, you can only call on-net, Digi, or BTL numbers. What does this mean? You get to call any national number using your promo credit. Your promo credit is free, so that call is also free. Know your facts. Don't be tricked by the other guy. Be smart and save your dollars.
The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
And we're back.
Yes, you're back. Are you ready for the day?
Yes, I'm filled with Rompopo.
Yes.
that means I'll be real productive, right? But we do want to say thank you to everyone who stopped in today, from the chit chat with Stuart Crone to the conversation with Kim about the Christmas Bram coming up this weekend, and of course closing off with
Rompopo from Kojak, scrumptious Rompopo.
There you go. All right, so remember you can pick up your Rompopo and all the different flavors that they have, including vegan and keto. Who would have thought? But you can be able to get your version or your favorite Rompopo or a mix from him on Facebook and on Instagram.
And of course, you want to do the challenge so that you could possibly win a package of Rompopo and a cake. So that's also a good idea for your Christmas festivities this season. And of course, you could also have that while enjoying your Christmas Bram that is going to be hosted by Niche and the Harmonic
Militant Band. Yes. All right, but that's all the time we have for today. If you'd like to contact us, send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com. Find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and on Instagram at
OYE Belize.
And remember to tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes
and start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Belize. There you go. Oh my.
Bring your data, hey. High temperature rising up in my veins.
Happy Independence Day!
Happy Independence Village!
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.